Have you ever sat down to a meal and wondered why the experience of eating feels just a little different than it used to? Or why certain habits you have carried for decades suddenly seem to affect how you feel afterward? It is a quiet question that many of us rarely stop to ask. Yet it is one that holds a surprising amount of importance as we move through life, particularly after the age of 50. Hello and welcome. It is so good to have you here with us today for a conversation that is less about rules and restrictions and more about rediscovering comfort and ease in our daily lives. We often hear so much noise about what we should be putting on our plates, the specific ingredients, the superfoods, the things to avoid. But there is another side to nourishment that health professionals and doctors frequently discuss, yet it often gets lost in the headlines. It is not about the food itself, but rather about the environment we create around our meals and the state of mind we bring to the table. This is something that many doctors often mention when they talk about digestion and overall well-being, especially as our bodies begin to naturally evolve with age. You see, the body is a wonderfully adaptive system, but as we cross the threshold of 50, many people notice that their internal rhythms shift ever so slightly, and things that once felt automatic now invite a bit more attention and care. Today, we are going to explore one very common mealtime habit that almost everyone does without thinking. And we will look at why simply softening this habit can make a profound difference in how you feel, how you digest, and even how much you enjoy your food. The beautiful thing here is that this is not about dieting. It is not about counting calories. And it certainly is not about depriving yourself of the things you love, but rather, it is about understanding how the body prefers to receive nourishment. To begin this journey, it helps to pause and reflect on what mealtime looks like for many of us in the modern world. For years, perhaps during the busy phases of career building or raising a family, eating was often a task to be completed, something to squeeze in between appointments or chores. And that momentum of rushing often carries over into our later years without us even realizing it. The habit we are gently looking at today is the act of eating while distracted or in a state of high alertness, often referred to by health professionals as eating, while the nervous system is engaged in activity rather than rest. Doctors frequently explain that the digestive process is not just mechanical, it is deeply neurological, connected to the brain and the nervous system in ways that are quite fascinating. When we are young, our systems are often robust enough to handle a sandwich eaten while driving or a quick dinner in front of the news. But as we mature, the body often asks for a different approach, a softer approach. Many experts point out that digestion is most efficient when the body is in what is known as the parasympathetic state, often called the rest and digest mode. And this is where the conversation becomes very interesting for those of us over 50. You might have noticed that if you eat while you are stressed, or perhaps while watching a thrilling movie, or even while scrolling through the endless stream of information on a phone, your stomach might feel a bit unsettled afterward, or you might feel a heaviness that wasn't there before. This is something doctors frequently discuss because when the brain is focused on external stimulation, It may divert energy away from the digestive tract. And for many people, simply noticing this connection is the first step toward greater comfort. This brings us to a part of the conversation that many people overlook, which is the simple biological reality of how digestion changes over time. It is generally observed that as we age, the production of certain digestive enzymes and stomach acid can naturally decrease, which is not a cause for alarm, but rather a signal from the body to slow down. When we eat while distracted, we tend to chew less, we tend to swallow air, and we often miss the subtle cues that tell us we are full. Many health professionals suggest that the simple act of slowing down and removing distractions can be just as powerful as changing the food itself. Imagine for a moment the difference between eating a meal while responding to urgent emails versus eating that same meal while sitting quietly near a window, or perhaps enjoying a gentle conversation with a loved one. The food is the same, but the body's response to it can be vastly different. Doctors often highlight that when we are calm, blood flow is prioritized to the digestive organs, allowing them to do their work efficiently. Whereas when we are distracted or tense, that blood flow is directed toward the muscles and the brain, preparing us for action. This is why so many people find that when they stop multitasking during meals, they experience less bloating, less discomfort, and a greater sense of satisfaction. It is a gentle shift, a moving away from the hustle and toward a moment of pause. And for those over 50, this pause can be incredibly restorative. There is another layer to this that is quite profound, and it touches on the emotional relationship we have with our food. When we are distracted, perhaps by the television or a busy environment, we often disconnect from the sensory experience of eating. We might not fully taste the flavors, or notice the textures, or appreciate the warmth of the meal. Many experts in the field of mindful eating and nutrition often point out that satisfaction is not just physical, it is also psychological. If the brain does not register the pleasure of the meal, because it is too busy focusing on the news or a problem to be solved, it might continue to signal hunger even after the stomach is full. This is a very common experience that many people notice, that feeling of having finished a plate of food but not feeling truly nourished or satisfied. By creating a calm environment, even if it is just for 15 or 20 minutes, we allow the brain to catch up with the stomach. This is something doctors frequently encourage, not as a rigid rule, but as a way to reconnect with the body's natural wisdom. It is interesting to consider that for most of human history, meals were times of rest, times to sit around a fire or a table and simply be. And returning to that spirit of simplicity can be very grounding. Now, you might be wondering what this looks like in practice. And the wonderful news is that it does not require a complete overhaul of your lifestyle, but rather small, gentle adjustments. For some, it might mean turning off the television just for the duration of the meal. For others, it might mean leaving the phone in another room. It is often felt that the silence or the soft background music allows the nervous system to settle, signaling to the body that it is safe to digest. There is a concept that many health professionals refer to regarding the cephalic phase of digestion, which essentially means that digestion begins in the brain before food even touches our lips. The sight, the smell, and the anticipation of food trigger the release of enzymes. And if we are distracted, we might miss this crucial warm-up phase. Doctors often explain that by taking a moment to simply look at the food, to smell the aroma, and to take a few deep breaths before the first bite, we are essentially priming the engine. This is particularly helpful after 50, when the body appreciates that little bit of extra preparation time. It is a gesture of respect toward oneself, a way of saying that this time is reserved for nourishment and nothing else. What often matters more than people expect is the pacing of the meal itself. When we are distracted, the tendency to eat quickly is almost automatic. We might find ourselves matching the pace of the action on the screen or the tempo of our thoughts. Many people notice that when they consciously choose to put the fork down between bites, even just a few times, the entire experience changes. It becomes a rhythm of eating and resting, rather than a race to the finish line. Health professionals commonly point out that eating slowly allows the gut hormones that signal fullness to reach the brain, a process that can take up to 20 minutes. If the meal is finished in 5 or 10 minutes, that signal is missed, which can lead to overeating and that uncomfortable feeling of being overly full. This is not about counting chews or watching the clock, but about finding a natural, relaxed rhythm that feels good. Some find that using mealtime as a break from the day's responsibilities, a true intermission, helps to lower cortisol levels and invites a sense of peace that lasts well beyond the meal. There is also a social dimension to this that is worth exploring. For those who eat with a partner or family, the distraction of devices or television can sometimes create a barrier to connection. Many doctors and psychologists mention that social connection is a key factor in longevity and happiness, and mealtime is a primary opportunity for that connection. When we are fully present with our food and with the people around us, the meal becomes an act of bonding. The conversation naturally slows down the eating pace, digestion improves, and the emotional nourishment deepens. Even for those who eat alone, treating the meal as a special appointment with oneself can be incredibly validating. Setting the table, lighting a candle, or simply sitting in a favorite chair can transform a mundane necessity into a ritual of self-care. It is often observed that when we treat our meals with dignity, we tend to make better food choices naturally, without needing willpower or strict discipline. The body responds to the care we show it. As we continue to reflect on this, it is helpful to acknowledge that letting go of the habit of multitasking during meals can feel strange at first. We are so used to being productive, so used to maximizing every minute, that sitting in silence or with just our food can feel inefficient or even boring to some. This is a very normal reaction. However, many people find that after a few days of practicing this calmer approach, they begin to look forward to the quiet. It becomes a sanctuary in the middle of the day. Doctors frequently discuss the importance of reducing chronic stress for heart health, for immune function, and for mental clarity. And mealtime provides a built-in opportunity to practice stress reduction 3 times a day. It is a small window of time where we can give permission to the nervous system to stand down. You might notice that food tastes better, that flavors are more vibrant, simply because you are truly paying attention to them. It is a rediscovery of the simple joys that can sometimes get lost in the noise of modern living. Another aspect that health professionals sometimes touch upon is the connection between posture and digestion, which is often compromised when we eat while distracted. If we are eating on the couch while watching TV or hunching over a phone, the physical space for the stomach to expand and work is compressed. By sitting at a table, with feet on the floor and the spine relatively straight, we physically support the digestive organs. It is a mechanical advantage that doctors often recommend, and it pairs perfectly with the idea of focused, mindful eating. When we sit properly and breathe deeply, the diaphragm moves freely, providing a gentle massage to the internal organs which can aid in digestion. These are small physical adjustments that complement the mental shift of slowing down. It is all connected: the mind, the posture, the environment, and the food. Let's take a moment to consider the cumulative effect of these small changes. If you eat 3 meals a day, that is over 1,000 meals a year. If each of those meals is eaten in a state of stress or distraction, that is 1,000 times that the body is asked to digest under less than ideal conditions. Conversely, if even half of those meals are eaten in a state of relative calm, that is hundreds of opportunities for the body to rest and repair. This is why doctors often emphasize lifestyle factors as being foundational to health after 50. It is not always about the dramatic interventions, but about the consistent, daily habits that signal safety and well-being to the body. Many people find that when they prioritize a calm mealtime, they experience better sleep, as the body is not struggling to digest late into the night. They report feeling more energy in the afternoons because the digestive process didn't consume as many resources. There is a gentle cascade of benefits that starts with the simple decision to just eat and do nothing else. This approach also fosters a sense of gratitude, which has its own health benefits. When we are present with our meal, we are more likely to appreciate the effort that went into preparing it, the source of the ingredients, and the nourishment it provides. Experts have observed that positive emotions like gratitude can have a harmonizing effect on the heart and the nervous system. It shifts the body away from anxiety and towards acceptance. So, in a way, the advice to stop doing other things while eating is also an invitation to practice gratitude. It is a moment to say, "I have enough, I am safe, I am nourished." For someone over 50, who may have spent decades caring for others or rushing to meet deadlines, this practice can feel like a well-deserved gift. It is a reclaiming of time. Of course, life is real, and there will be days when a calm, sit-down meal is simply not possible. There will be road trips and celebrations and busy mornings, and that is perfectly okay. The goal here is not perfection, but awareness. It is about noticing the difference between a frantic meal and a peaceful one, and choosing the peaceful one whenever the opportunity arises. Doctors often remind us that the body is resilient and can handle occasional stress, but it thrives on consistent care. If you find yourself rushing, you can simply take a deep breath, put down the fork, and reset. There is no judgment here, only a gentle return to what feels good. It is a practice, not a performance. As we draw this conversation to a close, I hope you feel encouraged to experiment with this idea in your own life. Perhaps at your next meal, you might try turning off the screens, putting away the reading material, and simply being with your food. Notice how the body feels. Notice the taste, the temperature, the texture. Notice if you feel satisfied with a little less food or if you feel lighter afterward. Many people are surprised by how such a simple change can bring such a sense of relief. It is a way of honoring the body that has carried you this far, a way of listening to its quiet requests for a slower pace. The wisdom of the body after 50 is profound, and often it is simply asking us to be present. This is not about becoming a different person, but about settling more comfortably into the person you are, and allowing your meals to be a source of true nourishment on every level. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and for being open to these gentle reflections. If this felt helpful or reassuring, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for being here, and I wish you many peaceful, enjoyable meals ahead.